Hello, Brigadiers! Minasan konnichiwa. I am Turbo Wheeler. Turbo Wheeler desu. Welcome back to Narcissu. In the last episode, we were given an introduction to the protagonist's health problems and to what was going on in her life, or his life rather. He's being admitted, discharged. A lot of hospital stays and health problems are befalling him. So without further ado, we move on to the first part of the story, and we start on the 7th floor of the hospital. Across the hall, facing the nurse's station, was a lounge-like place. Left in that unpopulated place were a number of sofas, folding chairs, and a large television. On that 28-inch CRT, a meaningless New Year's program was running. Watching that boring television with an equally bored expression was some girl. She had a small build and wore pink pajamas. Her wrist had, just like I did, a white bracelet. Hair that was to her hips left an impression. Hey, you. Is that interesting? There wasn't with any particular deep meaning. Since there was no one around, I tried speaking to her profile. Not particularly. That was all she replied with. She didn't even turn on towards me, even though I had spoken to her. Perhaps she had absolutely no interest in me. She continued to gaze at the television with a bored look. If it's boring, you don't have to watch it. As I thought that, I also sat down in a folding chair and sitting next to her, I gazed at the television. There was nothing else to do, nothing else I could do. Quietly, we continued to gaze at the television. On the screen were the usual New Year's programs, pathetic impersonations, and parlor tricks. Occasionally ringing out a most stupidly high-pitched laugh. In the pure white, sunlit room, it dryly reverberated. Say, you. Suddenly the girl spoke to me while still gazing at the television. You're on which time? Which time? What does that mean? Coming here, the 7th floor? Sorry, I don't understand the meaning of that question. I see. It's your first. It seemed that my inability to understand what she was saying had up and gotten satisfied with that judgment. Well, there's no one else around, so it's my duty. Duty? There's that kind of rule. While nodding, she added that there is a rule for someone to teach people who first come here to the 7th floor. Even now, I understood nothing. And as if ignoring me, the girl slowly began speaking. Well, listen closely, alright? The girl's words came by ones and twos. They were slightly different compared to the doctor's speech that I had heard up till coming here. In that business-like speech from the doctor, it was said that this was a place to await the advancement of medicine. It was also called a place for healing the heart. Most likely, broadly speaking, that was probably correct. However, from what the girl said, that was a facade. The 7th floor was within the hospital, but was the only place that didn't give treatments. Simply, a place to wait. for the end of life. That's what the girl said. That's what I also felt, and had the same perception. I'm on my second time, you see. Second time? What's that? Coming to this place. And the girl taught me. The place called the 7th floor. To be here from the moment of admission, all the way until dying. First of all, apparently didn't happen. Even if being cured was impossible, if your health becomes better, then they would allow you to come to go home once. But after a while and it turns bad, and once again you come back. Among those comings and goings, eventually, you'll die. The place where life ran out, it only differed between home and the 7th floor. Without fail, one would die in either of those. It seemed no one has ever escaped that. It was with that meaning that the girl had meant by saying it was her second time. Well, I'll only say this once. But from here on, listen well. Still looking at the dull screen, the girl continued speaking even more. Subject being not about what time the lights would be out and the normal sorts of topics exchanged between admitted patients. She taught me about totally different things. On the third time, you're given a temporary discharge to prepare yourself. There's never a fourth. You won't be going home anymore. There's a time that you want to run away. Go not to Station A, but towards Station B. Don't eat anything. That's the shortest path. It will end with the least burden to your family. It was only full of these sorts of topics that gives one pause. Most likely, it was something only for the people who came here. For just those who participated in moving towards death. These were the things that have continued to be passed down. Was the duty you mentioned earlier this? Yes, that's right. Someday, you tell it to newcomers too, okay? With those final words, the girl slowly stood up, gently her long hair swayed, and brushed the tip of my nose. Well, it's time for taking temperatures, so... Then, just like that, with her back facing me, she began walking towards the hall. I was left alone in that place, with the laughing voice from the screen, and the white flowers decorating around the window. In the end, the girl never once looked in my direction. From then, when a few days have passed, finally the New Year's programs ended, and soon the third terms of middle and high school would be starting. Today, in the lounge, once more, the figures of the girl and I were staring at the television. Boring, isn't it? Indeed. The word came back in reply, but both of us were conversing while continuing to gaze at the screen. Hey, is this place always like this? I don't understand the meaning of your question. Ah, I meant how there's no one around. Nurses, doctors, and add to that helpers. If you take them out, then aside from our own caregivers, I had never seen anyone else. I guess it's because it's the New Year's. You want to know the reason for that? No, it's not like I meant that. Then I won't say. An exchange that wasn't even a conversation, we indifferently exchanged back and forth. A slight breeze came from windows that couldn't open more than 15 centimeters. Occasionally, it would sway the girl's hair in the same way it would sway the white flowers decorating around the windows. Two of us, while watching the boring television, were only spending days passing time. There came the sound of slippers. Oh, the two of you were in a place like this? Saying that while rushing up was an elderly nurse. From just glancing at the nurse's station once in a while, this person seemed to be the chief of the 7th floor. So, Setsumi-san, you don't have a fever? It's alright, I don't have one. Setsumi? Apparently that was the girl's name. Can't be roaming about outside without permission anymore, okay? Alright. Everyone gets worried. That doesn't really matter. My, what kind of statement is that? Really, girls these days, there's just no helping them. And for a while more, the nurse continued scolding. After that, the girl called Setsumi, let it go by with an indifferent expression. As if ignoring the somewhat noisy nurse, she continued watching the boring screen. Well, later, I'll be coming to take a blood sample, alright? Those final words, once again the nurse returned back to the nurse's station. Hey, you. I mean, I can call you Setsumi, right? Wrapped around the girl's wrist was the white vinyl bracelet. While looking at the blood type and the name there, I asked, something wrong, Setsumi? Why is there no honorific? What? Even though you're the younger one. Hey, why is it that I'm the younger one? No real reason. I just thought so. It wasn't that I was upset at the word younger. It was just, no matter how you looked at it, one would believe I was 5, 6 years older. That was why I took out that license that was in my chest pocket and showed it to her. How about it? Even though I look like this, I'm 20, you know. Like I thought. Younger. Just a glance at the license, the girl gave only that reply. Hey, I don't really get it. Doesn't matter, does it? Only just a bit older. As always, the girl spoke softly with no expression. Those eyes, while looking at the boring television, I felt that they were also looking at us at some place far away. The morning temperature taking ended. I got onto the elevator, trying not to be seen by the nurses. Coming to the first floor, deliberately passing through the entrance for outpatients, and I just kept walking out of the hospital. Destination was the place I was taught before, not the nearby station A, but the far station B. It wasn't like I was planning on running away. 7th floor, or home. There was no one who died outside of those two. Before, that was what I heard. It also seemed that that girl called Setsumi had also gone many times to Station B. That was why, for no real reason, I simply felt like wanting to go to see that place once. Not like there are guards around. Even so, us residents of the 7th floor were different from other admitted patients. While also thinking about the but maybe, I continued walking on the streets of the early morning station area. Glancing at the hurrying commuters and people going to school, I slowly moved on at a measured pace. After walking a while, taking about 25 minutes, I finally arrived before the station. In terms of bus stops, it was about 4's distance. In a way, there's quite a bit of people around. That was the first impression upon seeing Station B. Because my clothes were pajamas, I stood out somewhat. However, just like this, I bought a train ticket. I felt could, without a single problem, go anywhere. Why was it not Station A, but this Station B that was recommended? I didn't know. However, if one were planning to run away, I thought it was a simple thing. Certainly, the girl was also supposed to have come many times. Why was it that she still remained in the 7th floor even now, I wonder? Early morning before the station. While watching the people hurrying by, suddenly, that thought occurred to me. That night, after the lights had been turned off, holding on to a book of manga, unable to sleep, I wandered around the ward alone. Normally, wandering around after the lights out will get one scolded badly, but us residents of the 7th floor were giving a relative amount of freedom. And with the lights off, the usual lounge was pitch dark. There, I saw her figure. Hey, today you're looking outside? In the dark room, there was this response. That face remained looking beyond the window. Immediately, I started talking about what happened during the day. That reminds me, this morning I went all the way to the station. Just like you told me, I went to Station B. I see. But the girl's response was no different from the usual. Because she was supposed to have gone before, I thought that there might have been some kind of reaction. But thinking about that, as well as how she still remained here, did it mean that she really had no intention of running away? I will soon be able to go home. Eh? Suddenly the girl opened her mouth. Words as if she had seen clear through my heart just now. But next is the 3rd time after all. We might not be able to meet anymore. Ah, that's right. Most likely when she said that she would be able to go home, she was talking about a temporary discharge. In this place called the 7th floor, being admitted more than 3 times, it apparently never happened. Especially, unlike the elderly, when considering the rate of progression of disease, she was even more so for younger patients like us. That kind of meaning came the words, "We won't meet again." Say, which would you choose? Choose what? Which one you plan on dying at? Suddenly hearing the word death, my words caught for just a moment. Well, I haven't thought about it yet. I see. Well, you're still on your first time. The girl spoke in a lonely murmur. Of course, I knew even I couldn't be here forever. Like everyone else, going in and out of the hospital, slowly weakening, until someday, the end, either the 7th floor, or surrounded by thin smiles, you would come to a choice between those two, probably. I don't want home, but I don't want here either. Then what will you do? Nothing in particular. I won't do anything. I was still able to walk on my own. I'll just go somewhere. Somewhere. Even though it was obvious that if one wanted to run away, one could, this girl still remained on the 7th floor. And I thought about that. Do you have some other place to go to? Do you want to pull me back? Or perhaps you want to come with me? No, I didn't mean it like that. Then don't ask. While gazing out the window, the girl spoke indifferently. As always, it had been a conversation where she did not even look in my direction. However, just that time, I saw that her usual expressionless profile seemed sad. Thought that the third temporary discharge would be the last. First time I've come to this 7th floor. Then, a girl who would soon face her second time. For me, I still couldn't really feel the things that were happening in reality, but someday, would I also come to make such a face? Before dawn, rain fell. Occasionally, also changing to either sleet or snow, it lightly continued coming down. In that, I was in the usual place watching the television. As always, the 7th floor was devoid of people. Is it interesting? Nope, boring. The girl came from the other side. Changing only those words, she quietly sat in the folding chair next to me. Then, today also, the two of us began gazing at the television. Surely, the girl was also the same. There was nothing else to do, nothing else she could do. Ah. Surprisingly, she responded to something on the television. Something the matter? Not particularly. The words were the same, not particularly. There was a response that was different from usual for the girl. Becoming interested, I turned my eyes to the screen. What was on the screen was some kind of nature scene. On a beautiful hill, trees and flowers blended into a landscape. And focused on the screen were a great many white flowers. They were flowers I remembered seeing before. They resembled the white flowers even now decorating the room by the windows. Are those the same flower? Look, aren't they exactly like these? While speaking, I pointed first at the screen and then towards the window. They're the same kind, but strictly speaking, they're different. Giving just a glance at the flowers by the window, the girl once again returned to gazing at the television while answering. To say the truth, even if she denied that they were the same, to me, I didn't know the difference between the two. And anyways, for me, whether the flowers were the same or different, it didn't really matter. Instead of that, the girl normally would never participate in conversation. The girl surprisingly continued with her words. That was why I also tried to maintain the conversation. Are you maybe knowledgeable about this sort of thing? Not particularly. Really? But I can't tell the difference. The white flowers blooming beyond the screen, the flowers in the vases beyond the girl's profile. While vaguely looking at both of them, I continued further with my words. So these are orchids or lilies. Look, they've got a whitish color, right? Even though I had no interest, I managed to continue speaking. However, the girl soon became like usual and fell silent. Her usual expression, she only gazed at the boring screen. But I had given up on the possibility that she would take up the conversation, and once again began to move my eyes back to this television. Narcissus. Eh? They're Narcissus. While answering, for the first time she faced me, swaying her long waist-length hair, while pointing at the flowers shown on the television. She looked at me. Just like the flowers displayed on the screen, there was a white vinyl bracelet wrapped around her wrist with white skin. First time I saw that face, I thought I saw the briefest of smiles. And that, I believe, was Chapter 1. So next time around, we will do Chapter 2. If you're enjoying the series so far, or the story rather, consider leaving a like, letting me know that you're enjoying it, and subscribe if you feel so inclined to do so. And tune in next time as I continue Narcissu. Until next time, Brigadiers, keep on rockin', and sayonara.